It's time to say goodbye. We've reached the end. It's a little wild to me. I mean, kind of also feels perfect. This is coinciding with basically us finally completing the Odyssey at Odyssey Book Club. So, of course, I also want to say, for those who have come to Odyssey Book Club, whether you were able to make it live or have caught up, whatever, congratulations. You have now read the entirety of the Odyssey, all 24 books. That's an accomplishment. And to go along with that accomplishment, I shall be finishing my playlist of Animatics for Epic the Musical. We have Would You Fall in Love with Me Again? Yes, in my head I was still counting out the syllables because I still have to every time. It's great. For this song, we have 3 animatics, 3 entirely new artists to me. That feels like such a good way to end this, you know, with artists I haven't seen before. And I do want to say, with regards to this playlist, look, obviously I did not make it. I had very little input in it, except for maybe saying, look, I can't do that many of that song or my brain will melt. But my playlist makers really did do their best to try and have a kind of equal amount of very popular, well-known artists who probably a lot of people have seen, and some who might be flying a little under the radar for some people. So, for this we have David Diaz, Naya Tian, or Naya Tian, I'm sorry, or is it Nia? I'm very sorry if I'm not saying your name correctly. And we have Sofiane. So let's go. Blood and flashing images. Okay. Looks like he's got his hands wrapped. I would wager... Oh, that was an interesting silhouette. Let's see the owl. Is it you? Have my prayers been answered? Going for definitely a much later look for Penelope. Again, very kind of like classical, which we've talked about. That's fine. Oh, I see a shield. That's cool. Oh, nice flash. I see those lines. I like seeing the lines on both of them, that they, again, look more mature. Is it really you, my love? I am not the man you fell in love with. I am not the man you once adored. I am not your kind and gentle husband. And I am not the love you knew before. Would you fall in love with me again if you knew all I've done? The things I cannot change. I mean, Odysseus, let's be real. She probably has suspected a lot of things. It's ancient Greece. She knows the drill. Interesting choices on like where different colors are for objects. What kinds of things did you do? Which they do have a conversation. Ooh. Oh, I love that. More like these images, which I will say, the only downside, air quotes downside, I can see is how these images are obviously what we have done is what's called masking. Basically, you cut this out, this is on a layer above it, so you move these images. They don't quite fit the whole of the shield, and that is likely because obviously they're done at a certain aspect ratio, and if you zoomed in, you might lose the image that you really wanted and where it's placed. It's just kind of the one thing where it's like, oh, it's kind of a bummer it doesn't fill out the whole of the shield. I would have loved to have seen that, but look, I can't do any of this, so that's not a criticism. That's just in case anyone's curious, one, how that's done. It's masking in different layers, but it is something that, yeah, you can tell also because you can see some of the edges on the shield, and also we don't have it down below either. But I do love that idea, and also I love the style of these images. The one with Poseidon right before it, gorgeous. Gorgeous. I love these, actually. Again, I'm a big sucker for like slightly more painterly styles, so if you give me something that feels a bit more like that, my heart is happy. And the lighting is gorgeous. Like, stunning. Some of your best colors, I think, really were in those images that you just flashed by. Whereas what I was going to say is that Odysseus and Penelope do have a long conversation where he tells her everything he went through, the whole of his adventure. Now, does that include the bits where he slept with other people? We don't really know how much detail he may or may not have gone into with that. She likely has suspected that he has slept with other people. Doesn't mean she really wants to hear it, and he would know better. I will also say, the downside of not giving us that much Penelope in this show is we don't get any of the really amazing banter that they have in the Odyssey. Like, those two bant like nobody's business. Banter is basically foreplay to them, and it's so good. Oh, so that's your design for the olive bed. Interesting. It's interesting you have her actually point to the bed and he sees it. Oh, they were not that young when they met, given he does not have any facial hair. And obviously it'd be very hard to transport that to Sparta. We had this whole conversation when I talked about the olive tree bed while first listening to the musical. The whole point is really that it's something that he built. It was something that was special to them. And they were, like, the only two who knew about it. You over and over again. I don't care how you're away. No matter how long it's been your mind. Don't tell me you're not. I love how angry and like frustrated you make Penelope. I love the choices you're doing with the body language. I see that. All of the names of the people who died and everything else. Like, this is really incredible. I love this bit. This is beautiful. Very well done. Oh, wonderful timing. I love seeing, like, curtains flapping in the wind. There's an old... Oh, those kind of images. Oh, I love that best. And your color and lighting is truly stunning. God, I wish this weren't MIDI instruments. Like, they would sound so good without it. But the lighting in those slightly more painterly images with less line art are just so gorgeous. But what I was going to say is that there's an almost kind of joke you learn when you learn film history and how there was a whole period where Hollywood was under what was known as the Hays Code, which was basically a morality code they had to follow. And one of the famous bits of film language that was essentially film shorthand for something has happened, and we don't need to show it to you, but you know, and beautiful. It's just a diplomatic mission. I'm not leaving this island ever again, Penelope. Very cute. So the idea of like what you would do is maybe you have characters kiss, and we like either do what's called a excuse you back, and you transition out. You might do a fade, or you might like fade to black, fade to white, but you open back up and it's like a sunny day and there's curtains blowing in the wind. That was basically film language for they did the nasty. They did the deed. Those characters slept together. That was classic film shorthand, especially during the era of the Hays Code, where they really weren't allowed to show anything, so they could get away with stuff like that. It's one of my favorite bits. So having them hug and the curtains blow in the wind, like, it's very dramatic, it's very beautiful, but also makes me laugh because we know that the night gets extended extra long for them in the Odyssey, so they can reconnect, so they can have their moment together, which is beautiful, and obviously we love it because the reunion between Penelope and Odysseus is one of the most like phenomenal and beautiful bits in the Odyssey. It's basically the whole of book 23, and it's gorgeous, and also again just reminds us why these characters are awesome, why they're perfect together, because again, their banter with each other It's basically foreplay. It is. It's basically foreplay. And it's so good. And there's so much about the way that it's written, the way that it's executed, that shows you that these two are something special. Like, this marriage is something special, and that they are perfect for each other, like, to the point that, like, the gods look down and go, it's freaking perfect. What do we, no notes, 10 out of 10, no notes. But I will say, David Diaz, with regard to yours, gorgeous colors. Your colors, especially, and frankly, the flashback sequences. The flashback plates, gorgeous. Plates, scenes, images, stills. Gorgeous use of color and light. I really loved the way you did that, and I liked that style, and you had a bit of it in just like the normal animation bit, and I can imagine that particular style is very difficult to do like a full animatic in, but ooh, that style is so good. And the colors were beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Do you need me to get your ball? Is your ball under the table?
Oh no, it's under the table. Wait, go get it.
You crazy. She crazy. Next we have, again, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, Naya Tian, or Nia Tian, Nia Tian, Naya Tian. Someone please tell me. I hate not being able to pronounce people's names correctly. It drives me insane, as somebody whose name was forever mispronounced growing up. I always feel bad. Again, yet another new artist. I love getting new artists. This is such a fun treat for me. It's a cool moment to bring in text instead. Oh, very nice door open. I see you. Of course she's pretty. Like, of course. I mean, again, all these Penelopes have been gorgeous. As they should be. Remember, Homer will tell you if someone's hot. In fact, Homer will tell you more than once, and we are told the whole house of Odysseus, hot. I love you've done a bit of the background. You're keeping it blurred out, obviously, because you want the focus on the characters. But I see there was effort put in the background.
Is it really you, my love?
I am not the man you fell in love with. I am not the
Interesting her looking to the side. I am seeing elements of the background that look far more modern. But like, whatever. There's nice expressions going on here. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, again, love that. Love that animation on the tear. That was lovely.
What kinds of things did you do?
Left a trail of red.
Oh, bringing her in there. Interesting. Love bringing in the color.
Traded friends like objects I could use.
Okay.
Hurt more lives than I can count on my hands.
Interesting
But
imagery.
all of that was to bring me back to you. So tell me, will you fall
Her body language is interesting because she's pulling away like this. Which I will say, in the Odyssey, we know, like, once she realizes it's her husband, which he basically opens his mouth and she's like, yeah, that's my damn husband. She's in, and again, they're bantering. They're having a game, almost. But they are both very grief-stricken, traumatized people, which is why the whole bed thing happens, in that his reaction actually surprises her. Because she goes, whoa, I thought we were doing what we usually did. And then it's the acknowledgement of both of them to each other. We are different people. We have been traumatized and changed by the things we've experienced over 20 years. We've each gone through our own sufferings, if you will.
How could you say this? I had built that wedding bed.
It's a much more modern looking wedding bed. I want to see the headboard, because right now the footboard doesn't really quite match what's happening in the song.
Do you realize what you have asked
Ooh.
cut it from its roots.
I'll be my husband.
The imagery doesn't quite match the lyrics there, but you are doing a great job with expressions.
Penelope.
And the best part of the song, this reprise.
In love with you.
Oh, I see the loom in the background though. I see you.
I don't care where or when, no matter how long it's been your mind. Don't tell me you're not the same person. You're always my husband, and I've been waiting, waiting, waiting.
Ah, key change. Do a lot of fade to whites. It's a good way to save your hand. Beautimus. Oh, look at the cute background. I like the triplet ostinato in the back. Oh, love the light. Is that Telemachus being like, that's my parents? That's actually really cute. I love that addition. Because Telemachus sometimes gets shit from people who don't realize why he reacts the way he does to his parents' first reunion. We'll talk about it in a second.
20 years.
Oh, I see your little lens flares. We love a little lens flare. It's very pretty. It's very nicely layered. I really do like that addition of Telemachus in there. That's probably one of my favorite bits you had, is the addition of Telemachus. Being like, that's what I wanted. Which does mean I will briefly talk about Telemachus and how I notice a lot of people when they read the Odyssey for the first time, there's a couple interactions that Telemachus has with Penelope that confuses people, kind of upsets them, and they're like, whoa, how dare Telemachus speak this way? Like, bruh, what the fuck? It's like, okay, you need to understand his psyche a bit as to what's going on. And in the case of when Odysseus and Penelope first reconnect, now again, Penelope rolls up to the main hall and she's just been woken up from amazing sleep, courtesy of Athena. Remember, Athena's given her good ass sleep so that she doesn't wake up in the middle of the slaughter by accident, maybe go down in the middle of Odysseus's berserker mode moment and, potentially get injured, held hostage. Like, let's not make the situation more complicated than it needs to be. So she gets woken up by Euryclea and she keeps getting told, your husband is home, Odysseus is here, the suitors are gone. And she's like, she wants to believe it. But remember, she has not gotten the confirmation from Odysseus herself. At this point, people have either seen it happen, they've been told by Odysseus that it's him, like they've gotten the confirmation. She's the only one left with no confirmation. So she's nervous, like she's going down to see her husband in this hole that they're still they're finishing cleaning up and, well, I'd say saging, but really I think it's implied they're using sulfur. It must smell horrendous down there. At least she doesn't have to do the cleanup. Look, it's important. We don't need to give her more work. But she goes down there and she's nervous because she's like, is this really my husband? Is it a trick? And even if it looks like my husband, is it my husband or is it a god in disguise? Because look, let's be real, that is a very valid option. That could totally be an option because worst case scenario is, that none of it's true. The next kind of worst case scenario is Odysseus is dead and this is a god in disguise who's basically enacting divine retribution upon what the suitors have done. And Odysseus is dead, which would just be devastating for her. Or, hey, maybe it is her husband. So she's going in with a lot of turbulent emotions, and she's anxious. And she walks in, there's Odysseus, having thrown back on whatever was left of the rags he was wearing, covered in blood, guts, gore, and viscera. I mean, he ain't exactly looking as sharp. He needs a bath. Several, in fact. Several. Oh my god. And she's standing there and she's looking. And it says, like, she can sort of see, at times she sees the husband that she knows, at other times she doesn't. And again, valid concern, it could be a god taking the form of her husband. So she's understandably cautious. Now, Telemachus immediately kind of starts chastising her. He's basically like, why are you just standing there? It's dead. Why are you not running to hug your husband? And he berates her a bit. Now, let's take a couple things into consideration. One, his blood is running up. He's still coming off an adrenaline high from basically the whole thing that was the slaughter. So he's a little amped on adrenaline. In addition, we know he's been essentially triggered by his own traumas. I mean, his incident with the disloyal maids is proof of that, of how, because he experienced the trauma that they enacted firsthand, he has the more violent reaction. He has the more kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Less thoughtful action, similar to how Odysseus in Polyphemus's cave, and we will see it, and then you see it in book 24 with the fathers, a bunch of the fathers of the slain suitors, like, equally react the same way, even though they know it's not logical, it doesn't matter, like, they're all, a callous and sort of flippant way to put it is they're very in their feelings. But here's Telemachus, going even beyond that. This is a 20-year-old who, yes, he is a man, he's just becoming a man, but we would go he's a 20-year-old kid. He's a young man who's getting the moment he has wished for all his life. Is his dad comes home, his parents reunite. You know, in his head, he has played this scenario ad nauseum, ad infinitum. He has seen it in his head, and it's not going the way he expects it to. He doesn't understand why his mother's just standing there and not just running to rush and embrace her husband and have the emotional reunion. So he's left really confused. So yes, he does berate her because he's confused and because he's emotional and he doesn't understand why she's reacting the way that she is. Now, let's give Odysseus some credit in that this is his first chance to essentially be a father to Telemachus, like, really, because he says, now, Telemachus, he goes, like, basically, I understand you're up in your feelings. I understand how you're feeling. He goes, but your mother is right to be cautious. You know, she's right. She's wise. She's surprised. Give her a moment. You know, you got to give her a second. You've known for several days and your blood is up as well. So give her a second. So again, I love including Telemachus just being like, the thing I've wanted is finally happening in the animatic. Because again, he has that moment in the Odyssey. And a lot of people rag on him. He gets ragged on a lot by readers who clearly aren't understanding the psyche of of Telemachus and like what's going on here. And again, you don't always have to like it, but the character's reaction is actually pretty understandable. And it's like, yeah, this is a kid who's finally watching his parents reunite, and he doesn't understand why his mom isn't having this reaction that he's kind of played out in his head probably a million times for 20 years, right? But that was probably my favorite bit in the anime. I just love that little bit. It's moments like that make me happy. And last but certainly not least, the final animatic on this journey. Would You Fall in Love with Me Again by Sofiane. I'm not gonna lie, I've actually seen your name come up. Several people were really hoping I was gonna watch yours. So that's a fun time. Let's do this. Oh, I see some long hair. Oh, he looks so nervous. Oh, I love holding his hands back. Ah, yeah. No, the family portrait.
Have my prayers been answered?
Oh, once again, she's beautiful.
Is it really
You unique
standing
style.
there? Or am I dreaming once more? You look different.
Everything, obviously, again, a lot more modern, but whatever. Oh my god, wait. Is that supposed to be Odysseus in the back? That's kind of great, actually. I kind of love that. Adore it. And I like your really sketchy style. Like, I can see all the lines. I like that. Obviously, I'm a fan of sketchy styles. As somebody who has really shitty line work, aka I don't really do it because I'm bad at it.
Lighter, your smile torn. Is it really you, my love?
I am not the man you
Oh, okay, red eyes.
I am not the man you once adored.
What is this style reminding me of? I almost want to say like old school Disney in places. And little bits of like much older manga and anime. It's very expressive though.
Would you love me all the same? I know that you've been waiting for
hands. I see
Left a
you.
trail of red
Ooh.
on every island.
Okay.
As I traded friends like
Whoa!
objects
I gotta see. That was Asty next, and I need to see that again.
Left a trail of red on
'Cause,
every
oof.
island. As I traded friends like objects I could use.
Wow.
Hurt more lives than I can count on my hands.
Really hope we weren't including Calypso in there, but
all of
okay.
that was to bring me back to you. So
Damn.
tell me
You have a very expressive style.
in love with me again if you knew all I've done, the things I can't undo. I am not the man you knew. I know that you've been waiting.
If that's true, could you do me a favor? Just a moment of labor that would bring me some
In front of
peace.
that old portrait of him.
See
great
that
framing.
wedding bed? Could you carry it over?
There's the loom. I see you.
Lift it high on your shoulders and take it far away from
Ooh.
here.
How could you say this? I have
Okay,
good
I gotta say that one moment of the how could you say this? One, I love what you're doing with the lighting in the back. It almost reminded me of a moment out of Studio Ghibli's House Moving Castle. Everyone's gonna know the exact. If you've seen it, you have to know the exact moment and expression I'm thinking of. Again, your style is incredibly expressive. Like, you are working overtime on these expressions. And some people might say they're really exaggerated. They are, but animation allows you that. One of the greatest things about animation is learning how to basically warp and adjust, everything about the human form and about anything, because you can. Animation allows you to do that.
wedding bed with my blood and sweat. Carved it
She's like,
into
yeah,
the olive tree
that's him.
where we first met. A symbol of our love everlasting. Do you realize
Ooh, the eyes
when
turning
you
red.
asked me, the only way to move it is to cut it from its roots.
Oh, I love that reveal.
Me and my husband knew that, so I guess that makes it
Great perspective, so we can see her fists. Ah,
Penelope.
I will fall in love with you over and over again. I don't care where or when, no matter how long it's been. You're
smooshing of the cheeks. Again, these little details.
You're not the same person.
Aw.
You're always my husband, and I've been waiting,
Penelope.
For you.
Oh.
How long has it been?
Interesting. This bit is interesting, because we'll talk a bit about book 24.
I love you.
Yeah, the style's much more kind of medieval feeling. That was wonderful. I adore the bit with Athena as the owl. You win my heart with that. I mean, again, the exaggerated expressions, I actually really think do a great job here. And your style is very unique. It takes a little getting used to for me. Like, that's a very personal opinion. But the exaggerated expressions are amazing. That bit with Athena as the owl, doing the eye roll and looking up at Zeus, obviously, just, that's beautiful. I love that bit. Now, the interesting bit you have there with them going out and the people cheering and all of that, book 24. Seeing Odysseus and Penelope means we do have to talk about book 24, which is the final book of the Odyssey, which is not in this musical at all. Book 24 is essentially the reunion between Odysseus and Laertes, which is just absolutely gut-wrenching because Laertes is really not doing well. He's old, he's frail, it's why he's no longer king, he's been suffering, and in comes Odysseus. And he initially tries to kind of do what he does with other people, which is sort of play a trick, like kind of test his dad. Because this is sort of what Odysseus did. He was known for liking to trick people and test them. It was all in good fun. It was never with malice, like when he plays like this. And his father just starts collapsing. And Odysseus can't do it anymore. He literally just breaks off his trick mid-trick. He can't do it. He goes, no, father, it's me. I swear, it's me. Look, here's my scar on my knee. Look at these trees that we planted. I can tell you exactly how many of which ones we did. And it's so gut-wrenching. And meanwhile, word has gotten out about what happened to the suitors because they're sending the bodies back. Again, we are not going to do anything shitty. We send bodies back. Unlike Achilles, we don't have to make the fathers beg for them. You will never understand my petty rage at Achilles for that. So, a bunch of the fathers who are basically on Ithaca proper, they gather and they meet and they basically say, you kind of get almost like, we were equating it to the moment of Gaston with the mob song, right? Like he's gathering everybody and they're all feeling angry, except we have some people who step up and talk. One, we have a character called Halitarsis, who's basically who can see kind of into the future, seems to be a bit of a prophet. And he says, this is your own son's fault. Like, you guys didn't stop him. You guys did nothing. It escalated to this point. Anything Odysseus did, he was fully within his rights to do. You can't want to, you have no recourse to want to kill him. Like, you don't. This is kind of on you. Not just because you clearly didn't raise your sons well enough, but you knew what they were doing in the palace and you didn't stop them. You let them keep going. And this is, actions make consequences. In addition, we also have one of the bards who witnessed what happened to one of the two who are allowed to escape because wrong place, wrong time. They were not involved in any of it. He comes out and he goes, yeah, also, by the way, there was totally a god on Odysseus' side. Like, I swear I saw it there. Like, it totally almost seemed like Mentor for a second, but it absolutely wasn't. There was a god there. He had divine approval to do everything he just did, which, sways quite a few of the understandably grieving fathers. And when I say understandably, I mean, for those who have seen A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which is brilliant, and I recommend, the character of Maekar has his son Arion, who's an absolute shithead. He is. And even Maekar knows it. We see the way he interacts with his son, and he's kind of disgusted by him, disappointed by him. But when it comes to an event known as the Trial by Seven, which is a big melee, in which it looks like his son could reasonably be killed, we see Maekar fighting tooth and nail to get to him, yelling, "My boy," which I think is brutal. It's brutal to watch, and it is emotional, even though you hate this character. And you know that Maekar, his own father, finds him disappointing, but that's his son. That's his kid. And he will try to keep him alive, within reason. Like, he doesn't want to watch his son get killed. So you can kind of understand where these fathers are coming from, to a degree. Again, you can understand without condoning. And, basically, half these fathers get convinced that, you know what, I'm going to go grieve. I'm going to go grieve. I'm going to bury my child or give him the funeral honors. I'm going to go do that. But Antinous' father and the other half basically lead themselves to go take on Odysseus and kill him because they can't see past this grief. We've talked about this. Inevitably, they're rolling up to where Odysseus, Laertes, a particular Dolos named, of all things, Dolios, who actually was a Dolos that Penelope brought over from Sparta. He was basically gifted to her by her father, Icarius, and his 6 sons, who are his 6 of his remaining children, because his other 2 children, would you believe it, are Melanthius and Melantho. And he's just like, I don't know them. I basically disowned them. Truly, because Dolios is loyal and so are his 6 remaining sons. They all basically team up, and Telemachus as well as some others. And they're like, well, we'll stand our ground. What happens is, I mean, and Laertes is old. Like, he's really in no shape to be fighting. But Athena gives him that last bit of strength so that he perfect form, hurls a spear and kills Antinous' father. And at that point, Athena literally rolls up, pulls out a divine megaphone and goes, everybody stop! And says, this is divine Cree. You're going to sign peace treaties with each other. Enough is enough. Done. It's ending. It's over. We're not going to have any nonsense anymore. Right? So that's just why I say that bit of them being cheered by the crowd. It's like, yeah, well, there was that whole thing with book 24. I mean, it is essentially kind of where the Odyssey ends, as we get told, like, the decrees are put down. It's peace at last, basically. Like, all these blood feuds are over. It's done. The Nostos has truly been completed. It's done, right? So there's that. But yeah, no, Sofiane, you have a very unique style. Again, your work with expressions is... Ooh. You had me there. I mean, in those flashbacks with the screaming, wailing Astyanax and everything, it was like, oh my god, that was insane. I see why people recommended you. And that means we are done. Epic has been concluded. Now, I'm sure everybody's then wondering, what are you going to do next? You can do more animatics. You can do cut songs. Like, what's going to happen? Well, in case you wanted to know, we're going to be moving on to something a little different. I'm likely going to have to take a slight break so I can prep myself for it. But when we return, we are going to do a first listen of stories from Styx. I know, I'm quite excited. It's not often somebody at some point tackles the Titanomachia or anything else like that. I know, like, again, I know very little about this. I know Casper Fox is the creator of it. I do believe there are some animatics and some art and stuff that goes with it. Again, I just want to listen first because ADHD brain can only take so much. I know that it's essentially an anthology musical, so they don't all connect to each other, which is kind of cool. And I'll be curious to see. I do know also there's some voices I've heard before, but regardless, this ought to be interesting. Peg is also very excited.